Yo, yo. Strim. How we feeling? How we feeling? Hope y'all are doing well. Let me switch over real quick. There we go. The fruit. And hear your thoughts on the new Shiyu stuff. Finally, let's rank the first two stages. So we're gonna try to play it today on stream. I did play a little bit on test server, and I've been talking a little bit to people about how I felt about it. I'm very 50-50 on it. I'm very 50-50 on it right now, but we'll get into that in a bit. Yeah, we'll get into that in a sec. Before we do though, let me put this stuff in the kitchen. We're gonna talk about tier list first though. But it's probably gonna start off differently than y'all probably expecting. I think there's something that needs to be said. And maybe some people listen, maybe they won't, but it is a discussion that will be had. But just give me a minute and I'll be right back. Oh, thank you for saying something. I didn't realize I was muted. So, we'll talk more about it once we get to playing it. But essentially, Shiyu has been shifted from being 7 floors to 5 now. And on that 5th floor, it is 3 stages, like the bosses set up in DA, but it's still Shiyu. But what's different about it is that it goes off of a score system instead of the time, even though the timer is still there. And the goal is that you want to do as much or accumulate as many points as you can as fast as possible. The faster you do it, the higher your score is, because there's a multiplier tied to the time, where within the first minute, it's what, like a ×5 multiplier. But after you get past that first minute, every 10 seconds after that decreases the timer lower and lower. And it makes the mode more of a burst oriented mode. And I think I was discussing with some homies. In the grand scheme, it kind of limits team diversity and flexibility. To the point that I think I just like old Shiyu better. I don't know if I really like this one. But we'll get more into it. We'll talk more about it. We will talk more about it. But to start, we're going to talk about tier lists. But before we even get into that, I hope you guys are doing well. We are getting ready for the new year to come in tonight. We're not going to stream to New Year's though. We're probably going to stream for about 2 hours maybe. And then I gotta go. I'm going to hang out with some friends for New Year's. But yeah, we're going to be chilling until then, talking about some Zenless stuff. Tier list discussion. But I wanted to have a conversation about tier lists in general before we start looking at tiers specifically. And I think there's something that needs to be said about tier lists and stuff and how people view them and why I think it's kind of unhealthy the way that they're currently being viewed. I'm breaking out too. I got a little pimple right here. Also mad I messed up my hand, so now I got a big old nasty mark on my hand. That's the most beautiful female in ZZ right now. That's my girl. That's my girl. And the buffs make her so fun, bruh. What time is it? It's 1:30 a.m. It is 6:37 p.m. here. So we have about like 5.5 hours before it's New Year's here. Bruh. Yeah, Coach, so I'm guessing it's EU. You're in EU. I'm guessing. But there's a tier list that I made myself. But I don't know what that file is. Is it on a different account? Oh, time difference is big, yeah. Is it this account? Oh, you're in Africa. Ah, I got you. Oh yeah, that's a major difference. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Where we at? Oh, actually, let me do this. When was the last time we talked about some tier list? And we gotta add all these characters in. I don't think they were in the game last time we did one. Let's really let you know that how often I do tier lists, because I don't do them that often. Just purpose some things. Give me 1 second. think the last time we did one, when Yuzaha and them got at it, was definitely a while ago. With S11, but is she better than Minato now? I think at M0, her and Minato are pretty similar, but if you have Mindscapes on her, especially M3 and higher, she's definitely stronger. Those are my thoughts right now. I think that's everybody. Yeah. That's everybody. I'm missing. Oh no. Boy. I think tier list makes players think from extreme perspective. Funny enough, you say that. That is kind of what we're going to be getting into before we actually do actual tier list. Can we do multiple images at once? Oh. What? How about? Can I just drag and drop these in here? How about that? No, we can't do that. Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do after 60? It does. I did that wrong. One moment, y'all. I gotta change these. Try to just import these images as is, but I'm gonna have to like upres them or convert them so that they're PNGs. Just gonna be web files. They aren't accepted. Island. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Anato. Okay. Worry. Write it down. I did uprise them so they do look a little crazy, but I'm making them small enough so you guys won't even notice the craziness. I'm not gonna lie. That's to be honest. That's to be honest. Is it bad to say the biggest buff Bernice got was quick assist shortcutting to dub shot? Possibly. I hear like her buffs aren't super insane. That's how most people's perspective of is on them, which could be fair. I haven't played her enough. Oh my god, I don't know if y'all hear that. But I have not played her enough to assess that. But that is a common rhetoric though, that her buffs aren't that crazy. Yeah, now. That's one. This is motto. Damn. Okay. Yeah, I think buffing her is a little hard because Bernice sits in like a weird spot where she's supposed to be this one off-field ish unit, but like off-field has drastically changed from what they initially came up with, and so they're trying to come up with ideas that allows her to maintain this quick. She comes on field, but they want her to maintain this really short rotation still. So it's like it feels like there's not too much they can do outside of just like adding maybe like some stat changes and like additional buffs that she can offer. But like from a gameplay perspective, from other characters, doesn't seem like they can do much. What's good, Robbie? I think my problem is they buff keeping her off, I think, but I play her quick spot since I use compiler. Got you. Yeah, I think it's because of how they view the identity of the character. And so like that's what like a lot of their buffs are tailored to what they view that what they think the identity of the character is, or what their original what their design behind the character was, and that was like her identity to them was to be this off-field unit, and they want her to kind of stay that way. But Bernice has kind of evolved to be potentially played more than that way, so it's funny. Also, what's good, Robbie Rax? If I didn't say that, what's good, King? They should have let Bernie keep her aftershocks. I didn't know they gave her aftershocks in some of those test builds. I was thinking M0, S11, M6 Minato were similar in power. That's what it's seeming like right now. S11 with mind skills would beat Minato 100%, but M0, S11 with potential vision should be maxed out Minato. What do you think so? Yeah, I think maxed out at like 6. Potential 6, she probably should be better than Minato, especially since once you hit a potential 6, you can basically, or even starting before that, you can basically change her build so that she doesn't really need to focus on crit damage since she gets so much in it. And then if you're running Evelyn's engine with her, you can basically guarantee yourself the 100% crit rate that she needs and focus primarily on attack after that, because she's getting like so much crit damage everywhere else that she just doesn't, it makes, she doesn't really need it, and she doesn't really need like any main stats to focus on it. Like low key now, you could probably push for like focusing on like getting like 4K attack with her, and then you could probably still end up having like 200 crit damage in a build with her, and that's like more sweaty builds with S11. But yeah, we're going to actually get into this now, just because we're not going to be here super long since it is New Year's. Of course, it's going to be New Year, so I just discuss, hang out with family, friends, and stuff. But you guys see the title of the stream. Let me start this. In order to build a Bernice buff had aftershocks when disordered. Oh, I'm okay with the entry skill. Oh, that's what. Oh, they replace the aftershock with the entry skill. Makes sense. Why is everyone getting a bloom now? Because that's like a big thing with anomaly characters that made them better. Well, not a big thing. It was only Vivian, but it was a good idea to give them to like Bernice and Grace. I think it works pretty well for them. And the way interest skills function lightish, yeah. I think that's what it reminds me of. The interest skill reminds me a lot of the lighter thing. But yeah, okay. So as you guys know, every time we get a new patch, new character comes into the game, there's always a general discourse that comes around tier list. Tier list is the main thing that people love talking about whenever we get a new patch. But instead of like completely discussing a tier list in general, which we will get into this, as well as we'll talk about our own tier list, I want to have a discussion about tier lists that I think needs to be had for the people that generally consumes them, and mostly that is tier list discussions in themselves, or them existing for the average player, is, in my opinion, unhealthy. If you guys ever been on social media like Twitter, or even just like under tier list videos on YouTube, you probably see that everybody has like some form of negative connotation around tier lists, like in a discussion. And I think it's because of what people mainly focus on when talking about them. And you guys probably see this a lot. Whenever a new agent comes out, and we get a new product tier list update, you guys could probably automatically know what is the main section of the tier list that everybody focuses on. People hardly ever look at any other aspect of the list. They only focus on two sections whenever characters come out, or when any characters get updated. And that's T0 and T0.5. T1 gets added in a discussion a little bit more, but if I'm going to be honest, a lot of times when T1 gets mentioned, it's more so in a very mixed or negative connotation than being good. And that's because how people view tier lists, in my opinion, they view it in a way of trying to they mostly view it in a way to try to find out what characters are strong and what characters are weak. And the reason this really isn't a good thing, in my opinion, is because tier lists, in the grand scheme of things, how people approach them and look at them, it does not help you understand the game at all. All they really do, which I know I'm switching back and forth, all they really do is tell you, and this is what social media does. And we look at other comment section. These characters in these lists are good. Everybody else, they're either okay at best, or you shouldn't play them. This is how most people digest tier lists, and this is how most people push this information. But in my opinion, it's really unhealthy to think of the game this way, because you end up enclosing yourself in a small box of not truly understanding the beauty of a lot of the units in the game and the exploration that the game allows and offers. You're probably guessing what I mean by that. When I look at a character on a tier list and I see that, okay, Apex character, these are the characters that are best in the game. That means if more than likely, if you have these units, you should use them. And everybody else below, it's either a very situational perspective, or a lot of times you probably won't see them that often. But when hearing that, most of the time that means that a lot of newer players, or players that generally playing, they kind of start talking about, they kind of start lacking the nuance of that. Oh, well, what are the strengths of these units? What are the weaknesses? How am I able to utilize the characters that I like and overall build them up within a proper way? And God, how do I want to properly say this? Talking about a Shiyu defense and the agents, right? Not specifically Shiyu, just tier list discussion in general. How do I want to say this? I think the discussion around the tier list are unhealthy for most players, average and new specifically, because it does not teach you about understanding how the game overall works. Tier lists gives you a kind of insight on how strong characters are and how potentially weak they are in the meta grand scheme of the game. But when actually playing Zenless or any game in general, it's very unhealthy to look at them for most players, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to have a character that you either like, or you're not going to have access to all of these top tier units that you're going to need to be able to understand and operate these characters on the lower end. And the issue with tier list conversations, like I said before, is that a lot of times people do not discuss these characters down here. A lot of times people write these units off and say that they got power creep, there's no reason to play them, so on and so forth. You're talking to somebody that uses Soldier 11, and I've been using her past her buff, and I can tell you that regardless of Soldier originally being within like the T2 list, I was still able to clear content with her and be perfectly fine with using her regardless of what her tier placement was. And I think that's like one of the main issues that I have with tier lists, is that whenever it's used as a conversation piece, it's never used in like a proper, it's hardly ever used in a proper healthy light, but more so used in a negative way of saying that, oh, characters up here are broken, making these characters irrelevant, when in actuality there's a lot more nuance to the discussion about how characters can be used and how you can utilize them. So if you're a player that's getting into the game, or you're a player that's trying to understand the game better, I don't think tier lists really help you with that at all. I think overall, the main thing that you should be doing if you're trying to get better at the game, if you're trying to understand the value of the units that you're using, and if you should be using so and said characters, you should be searching out or reaching out to people to understand how to properly utilize those units, regardless of where their tier placement is. Like for instance, people that play Billy. Billy is a character that's been here since day one, and he's regarded as one of the weakest characters within the game, one of the weakest DPS in the game. But you can go and ask any person that really sits there and understands and learns Billy. There's a lot of benefits to learning that character. There's a lot of strengths to learning him. And there is workarounds to allow you to still use Billy within in-game and be able to clear things with him effectively. But with a tier list, it doesn't. Within a tier list that provides a whole different outlook and perspective for people, because a lot of times you just automatically write those lower units off due to you not having a lot of the available information there for you to understand why characters are being placed where they are and what are their ups and downsides. Now, to give credit to, because since we used Prior Win as an example, to give credit to Prior Win, when you click on the character, you do get an overall general review about them, how to build them, team dynamics, overall performances, so on and so forth. And they even provide their own little review on the characters. But if I'm going to be honest, most people that share Prior Win's website, they talk about tier lists and all discussions, they're only screenshotting this. They're not even talking about the change logs and the adjustments and why things were adjusted and where they placed and where they were. People aren't providing overall a very strong people are just taking things out of, it's in a way it's taking things out of context or not providing you full context when seeing these things. And so overall, I think for people that's quickly digesting this information and seeing it for the first time, or seeing like the discourse within the community about these subjects, it just overall, in my opinion, makes the conversations not, I don't want to say invalid, but it makes the conversation have less nuance to the point that it overall hinders and harms the people that are a part of it, because they don't have the overall full picture. And so I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but generally I want to bring this up or talk about it because I think that one of the main issues, and I think one of the main issues that a lot of people run into when discussing these things and are having issues with the game and are struggling in aspects, and then they kind of blame the character's tier placement, or they blame the fact that they don't have a lot of stronger units in the game. I think it's just a lot of lack of information And I think that people should dedicate themselves to focusing less on tier lists, and more so focus on how to understand and play the game. Tier lists honestly are irrelevant. They don't matter, and they shouldn't be used as an end all be all like everybody ends up using them, because again, they don't dictate how you'll end up playing the game. They don't dictate on your ability to be able to clear a lot of things, because again, a lot of our older units that are viewed as weaker within the game still are able to perform well within the content within the game, and you're still able to have a lot of fun with them. I'm somebody, I always say that I'm always going to play Soldier 11, even now with her buff changes, but even before then, I was always going to play her just because I find her as a unit that's fun. Same thing with somebody like Minato. He's a character that's going to slowly decline for sure as the game progresses, because he's an A rank unit, and more than likely not, we're not expecting A ranks to get buffs. And they are characters that are designed to be graduated from, but he's a character I'm going to always end up playing as well, because I find him fun, and I'm going to find out ways to make him work. And basically, there's use cases and ability to use units regardless of where their tier placement is, and I think you're better off going about trying to explore how those characters work and how you're able to use them than just worrying about where they are on a list that doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter for your enjoyment. It doesn't matter on how you're going to improve on what you should improve on. Meta is something that only really matters to like the highest echelon or highest percent of players that are playing the game, who just want to use the most broken things within the game. It doesn't matter in your overall enjoyment of how to play Zenless, nor does it really provide you any true value in the long run, especially when having these general discussions on social media, because they don't offer nuance. And so play who you want. I think playing who you want overall allows you to have a lot more fun with the game. It overall allows you to get a better understanding with the game, because I think you'll end up enjoying and being more open to learning how things work within a game if you just end up playing with characters that you like and build around those said things. So meta discussions, tier lists, all that, it don't matter, bro. It don't. And I'm tired of like constantly seeing these discourses that happen every patch, but I can't say that I'm not at fault of like having these things happen too, because I've made tier list videos before. We're even going to discuss a tier list after me talking about this, because I do think to a degree tier lists can have a healthy conversation when you provide nuance. But I just think that I've always been in the mindset, even when discussing those tier lists and having my own tier list discussion, tier lists aren't the end all be all. It doesn't matter. They don't matter in the overall grand scheme of things to find enjoyment and play with units, because I like a lot of the characters on the lower end of the list, and I have a lot more fun with them sometimes. And so yeah, enjoy them. Enjoy the characters that you like. Learn more about them. Learn how to improve with them, and push them as far as you can. But if you're someone that likes to play with a lot of the newer units that come out and enjoys the meta, do that too. Just don't make tier lists the end all be all, because it just really doesn't matter when it comes to overall enjoying and understanding the game. And when you let tier lists dictate your enjoyment, I think that's when you start to hate the thing that you're playing a bit more over time. I was reading chat while I was saying all that too, and I probably will include some of this too. Let's see. Let's scroll up a little bit. The bigger the cask is, the harder it is to know what to do when you don't know anything. But knowing is a big fun, since you can just start putting together non-meta teams, since it might work. Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite aspects about Zenless, or just about team games in general, is that as the roster gets bigger, that means more things allow experimentation and allows you to expand upon what the game currently offers. Like immediately, I didn't get a chance to do much content on Dial-In, but like when Dial-In came out, my first thing thinking of was like, oh, I wonder how Dial-In and Julian is going to work. I wonder how Dial-In and Billy works. Like all of the older units that are like either struggling or like are potentially looking for new teammates, Dial-In and Nekomata. I'm like, how do these characters work with these newer units and bring them up? And do they make their gameplay overall more fun? Add a new gimmick or variety that we didn't think of, instead of just worrying about what their best in slot is, because new characters being added offers a lot more diversity and experimentation, and it's a lot of fun that way. It makes the game a lot more fun. My take on this is that it's unhealthy for most players. Yep. The rewards are basically the same. It's much more harder, and weaknesses are annoying. Big value this tier list does is tell you that Nicole is good, but new players will probably play her M0 with their ruptures. True. My thing with tier lists is they never properly provided characters for options and roles, because one character can fall in many roles, so I ignore them for the most part. That is true. If we switch over to the prior one tier list, one of the main things that they point out is that their tier placement on this list is with their best in slot teams. And I don't know if you guys might have saw Yojimbo stream, or he's probably going to drop his tier list video or a video discussing tier lists. But one of the main things he pointed out is that the funny thing is, especially since Dai Lin's release, she is the best in slot stunner for a lot of these characters. And so if you're telling me that their tier placement is based on their best in slot team, and Dai Lin is a part of a lot of these characters' teams, that overall provides not a fully accurate assessment of the character. Because, for instance, the value of Hugo drastically changes depending on the stunners that you have available on his team. Say you don't have Lighter and you don't have Dai Lin, but your options are, but you have what? You have a Chingy and you have a Trigger. Hugo value as a crit DPS then drastically changes to where he is on the tier list, because those aren't his best in slot stunners, nor do they completely provide everything that he needs or is overall looking for to make him a lot stronger. And so within that case, he might actually shift down because of that mixed nuance, or vice versa. Especially say you don't have any limited stunners and all you have is Colada and a Ambi. What Hugo is definitely not within the higher echelons of the tier, like tier 1, if you have a limited roster that way. So it doesn't completely, and Hugo isn't the only example, this goes for everybody. It doesn't completely reflect the character's full strength or the overall strength and options that the character has, because if we're only considering their best in slot options, then we aren't also providing variance with the character. We also aren't providing variance with the character when you don't have those options available to you. So I might be seeing that as Soldier 11 is T1, but is that T1 value only with Dai Lin on her team? Is she not T1 when she's using her original best in slot stunner Lighter? Is she not that way with Trigger? There's no nuance there. And without that nuance, it provides conflicting experiences, because people, when they see her tier list firsthand without any full context, they're like, well, you said this character was really strong. Why am I struggling to get performance? Oh, you don't have the right team for them to make them that strong. Oh, well, I didn't know I needed that team in order for them to make that strong. So on and so forth. Things like that. And you only need 3 teams. Oh, I think you're talking about the Shiyu thing, which we'll talk about a bit. I pulled Juliana around 1.6 during her rerun because I pulled Chingy. She was my first S rank character. Now I can't even use them all anymore because the meta is sadly not really that great for them. That is true. There is a little bit of nuance there, though. I think those characters are still usable together. It just does require a bit more investments. I'd love using her as well, but when you have others that are just better, clear fast, and doesn't make you stress, you gotta do what you gotta do. I think if, at least for me, I prioritize fun over everything. To me, clear speeds and stuff doesn't matter as long as I'm able to clear and get the score and ranking that I want. So as long as that happens for me, I'm cool. Like Soldier could take 3 minutes to clear Shiyu, and as long as I have another team that can clear within the extra 2 minutes that I need, I'm thinking about old Shiyu, by the way, then to me it wouldn't really matter. because I just enjoy the units that much. But I can understand that perspective as well, Mal. I'm also just catching the messages. Tier lists are boo-boo. Facts. The list does not matter if you understand the character. They tend to be very disingenuous. Yap. The meta is honestly going bad. I wanted to pull Evelyn, but ever since Chasing War release, I don't think about her anymore. I think which we could talk about this a little more in a minute, Al. I think you just stop worrying about meta so much and just enjoy the characters. Eslo is my first DPS, and I stuck with her since 1.1. Never felt disappointed. Love her. A lot of what is said regarding anything below T0.5 feels mad disingenuous, especially when it's been shown you can clear with even the cunning hairs. Yeah, I think it's not. I don't think it's people trying to purposely be disingenuous. I just think that how tier lists tend to evolve conversations just around gaming in general. I think people just automatically just ignore the lower tier characters because they've automatically viewed them weak and unusable or not worth using. And that's just the default that's created with people in the minds of thinking about tier list. Let's see. People were assuming Astra would replace Nicole. I was really hoping to use them together for Jué. That's true. Yeah, the reason why I do horizontal investment. Variety is king to me in team games. Yeah. I think we're caught up. Also, the reality is you are not going to make your teams top heavy where one team has all the best units, then the other two teams on life support. Yeah, it's better to have a stronger spread. I think Trigger is still better in Sambi's team. Yeah, hold up. Does people not think that Trigger is better in her team? Is that an actual conversation people are having? Trigger is definitely better in Sambi's team. Yeah, you got to be careful when absorbing info regarding agent tier lists, especially when you're new. Yeah, I think that's a big thing with just like tier lists and gaming in general. You got to be you need to understand. I think with tier lists and low key, I think this is how they used to be before. Because funny enough, tier lists have always existed, but they did tier lists started getting really populated and really popular once we hit COVID and everybody was just egregiously online. So tier lists started popping up and being made and used for everything. Because people was making random shit online like cereal tier list and all that stuff. But when it comes to gaming and overall meta discussions, I think which is impossible to do, but there should be like a prerequisite or like a disclaimer with tier lists saying that tier lists only matter to you if you have a full understanding of the game. If you don't have a full understanding of the game, what you see on a list just doesn't matter, because you lack the fundamentals that are needed in order to apply what a tier list is telling you. That should be a disclaimer, a part of most lists. If you don't understand what this character does, how they effectively do it, the teams they're being part of, so on and so forth, the tier list doesn't matter to you. The tier list doesn't really matter or do anything for you. And that's really fine, because you don't need a tier list to enjoy a game. You could completely ignore a tier list for any game and enjoy it for what it is. Like when I played Honkai Star Rail, I didn't. My EO and them, they would send me tier lists and stuff and like tell me what characters are good, but it wasn't needed for me to enjoy my little bit of. I think I played that game for like 6 months before Zenless came out. I didn't need it to enjoy the game. Excuse me. I just played the game. Same thing with a lot of fighting games. I just play characters that I like. To me, it doesn't matter where they're placed on the tier list. As long as I find synergy within the characters that I like, that's all that matters to me. And the fun and I have fun with them. But I'm someone that also just loves. I like talking about discussions about character power, meta, and all that, because I like providing extra nuance that people tend to not do. Because I'm someone that I value characters on all levels. On all levels of the tier, no matter if they're low tier or high tier, because like most of 2.5, you guys are probably going to see content revolving around me playing a lot of the older agents with like the newer supports and stuff, or me more so focused on like the new buffs and stuff to a lot of the older agents, because that's more interesting to me. Ye Xingguang's cool, but I find the changes to Soldier, to Grace, to Bernice, and all of them a lot more interesting, and trying to push and see how far they can go instead of worrying about what Ye Xingguang is doing in endgame. Like that doesn't really matter to me as much. I think a lot of the older units are just a lot more interesting and fun, and I would like to focus my content around that. And Zhao will be involved within that, because Zhao is a support that can work with a lot of the older units too. To me, I think that's more interesting, because that's more so centered around team diversity and exploration than focusing on the character that's going to be broken anyway. Is Fukaku better than Yanagi for Miyabi, Yuzuha, and DA, or does it depend on the boss? From my understanding, it depends on the boss. If you're doing mono ice stuff and you're good at mono ice, then Sukaku tends to be the better option. But if you're not, running disorder comps is pretty good too. Especially if like the boss is an anomaly boss and it's centered around disorders, then you're better off focusing on disorder. So yeah, it's pretty much boss dependent. I really hope Nekomata gets a buff. I hope so too. I hope Nekomata gets buffed, and I would love to play her more because of that. Neko is also a character I've been kind of diving into a little bit too. But I need to spend more time with it, because I suck with Neko. But I know Neko, even though Neko's like ranked as one of the worst characters in the game, I know there's more nuance that Neko can perform well. Even though it's like there's like asterisks when it comes to things like that. Like for instance, with Neko, if you want to see like, what's his name, Gil. He is a heavily invested Neko. Gil's a heavily invested Neko, but seeing what he's able to do with Neko is actually really interesting and a lot of fun to see. Regardless of his investment, like of course they end up pulling Maya's copies and stuff for their characters, but to me I think that's fine, because their whole thing is that they enjoy playing. They enjoy playing this character, so they want to do more with them. And my thing is lagging right now. I don't know why. Like, I think it's cool, sis. I think it's very sick seeing somebody push the character that they love so much to greater heights. Which is also why we're working on a whole series about that. And Gil is actually one of the people I want to have on. Even though I don't think Gil talks much, so I have to see if I can convince him to get on mic, or maybe get some information from him to do like a weird episode. But like, I've already recorded the first episode of the series that we plan to do, which is this right here, the beauty of character mastery. That's a series that we're working on, and the first episode is Yojimbo with Billy. And you know, that's one of the big things we have planned for next year, of like doing a whole series, like just talking about players that love the characters that they play, and then pushing them characters onwards and forward. And yeah, that was a big ramble though. Overall tier list don't matter. You're a new player, you're a returning player, you're an ongoing player, and if you're someone that doesn't fully understand the game, or you're someone that's learning the game, tier list doesn't matter. It doesn't contribute to you learning. It doesn't contribute to you having fun. So don't focus on them so much. Regardless if somebody like Miyabi drops, or if freaking Soldier gets moved up, doesn't matter. What matters is you having fun with the game, you improving, and just overall having a good time with it. That's all that matters for the game. And so never let a tier list dictate that for you. Well, yeah, I appreciate you all your love and support. Remember to leave a like and subscribe if you aren't new, and always remember to believe in you that believes in yourself. I'll see you guys in the next one. That was for the video, y'all. That was for the video. We're still here streaming. What's good, Dirt? I'm not convinced my buff M2 Bernice is stronger than M0 Vivian, but I'm still content with getting those mindscapes even as a free to play. I could see that. Who knows though? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. I imagine maybe not, just because Vivian's buffs overall are just kind of crazy. But M2 Bernice is really good still though, so. What's good? What's good? We're doing good, Derp. Just doing tier list discussion. We're gonna get through this next one. We're gonna try to get through this as quick as possible. I already know this is probably gonna be a little long one, but I need to see what Vivian players are doing with agents. I have because three Bernice are the only limited anomalies I pulled. Yeah, that's like the tough thing for also things like that, because a lot of people don't play like some other. So like if you're, I think you're playing them with Grace. And I don't ever see Grace being played other than like with R2 doing mono shock. Like I don't, is there even like recent Grace clears? Like there's no info hardly ever on them. I'm a dedicated Grace and Ben player forever. That's dope. I love that. That's why like I've always stuck with Soldier and tried to do content around her. One because I like her a lot, and also because I like to show people that you can continue to play the older characters if you like them. I don't know why it's lagging, bro. Yeah, it's lagging for some reason. I don't know. I think it's because I'm recording at the same time, and I guess it's taking up a lot of power on my PC. I'm not sure, but all right. Time to get to the more long-winded part of the stream we're doing. Okay. Ooh, here we go, y'all. Okay, so you guys might have saw the recent tier list video I did talking about like the unhealthiness and state of tier list. You're probably about to say, bruh, you did all that just to still make a tier list video? And yes, I did. I do still think tier list is an unhealthy conversation for the most average player, for the most general player that's playing the game, because you don't really need it. But I also think that tier lists can add a nuanced discussion that's interesting and fun, and not fun, but good to see when it comes to understanding where the ceilings of the games are hit, which is kind of where we want to talk about this prior one tier list and maybe even create our own, where that these new changes to the prior one tier list feel very conflicting with what they're trying to do, and I think it's what's causing this and I think it's one of the main reasons why it's causing this uproar and discourse that people are having, and I kind of want to get into it. So recent with the prior one tier list, they've made the change of not having it be, which this one follows the old one that they did. It was primary DPS, secondary DPS, and support. Now they've brought it back to what it used to be within early parts of year 1 of Zenless, where it's crit DPS and anomaly DPS and support. But what's weird about this is, for one, they're separating them, but there's no anomaly character in tier 0. And also, like somebody pointed out in chat, Miyabi is an anomaly DPS, but she's an anomaly DPS that's based off of crit values. So why is it Miyabi like here twice? There's also some things that they made changes about how the expert tag works, and it's just weird. And so we're going to kind of go through the things that they quickly go through the things that they changed about the tier list. I might include this part in the video. We're on stream right now, so if you guys want to ever pull up to the stream, come to it on YouTube or Twitch, SolessSol, come through, support your boy. I might cut this out in the video just so it's not really long-winded. But if you want a full understanding of like how their tier list is adjusted and stuff, just be sure to either go on their website or check out the VOD of the stream to see what changes they did. Do they highlight what's new about this, or did this whole category just get shifted? Let's see. About the tier list. Yeah, I'm not trying to read all this. I don't think I need to read this part. I think we just need to change criteria and roles. Yes. So roles, we mostly compare characters within their roles. So crit DPS are compared to other crit DPS, but there is a degree exception that each individual tier is in part of indicative of general power. Priority is given to adjustments based on agents' performance with their roles, but with CCZ being a team-based game, it is inevitable that the presence of certain agents can sometimes exert an influence across roles. Crit DPS. The crit DPS role covers agents who mostly deal most of their damage through crits and have limited anomaly build-up needs. The anomaly DPS. Anomaly DPS roles covers agents who are either highly dependent on or deal most of their damage through anomalies and disorders. Support. The support role covers agents who primarily functions in assisting others, be it through buffs, debuffs, stays, application, and any other combination thereof. Okay, I think that's the only thing that got adjusted there. This is also where they say that utilize in their full best three-man team. So this is more, all their placements are focused on their best teams. They also use their best disk drives and max level S rank disk. We know this. They also made updates to tag. So partner tag. Characters with this tag are accessed within their best team as normal, but have a necessity to include a specific limited S rank agent in that team that makes them perform much better than any other option. Without this singular teammate, the character may see a significant drop in performance, lowering their tier list ranking by one or multiple tiers. The more important one here though is characters for expert tags. Character with this tag have a optimal playstyle and advanced technical requirements that must be mastered for them to be at their best. Skill and rounding adjustments will always lead to significant depreciation in score, but some agents are more demanding than others. Without the necessary skills, the characters may see a significant drop in performance, lowering their tier list ranking by one or multiple tiers. Remember this, because this is a point that we're going to bring up within this discussion. All we need to worry about right here though is change. Oh, they include everything they did with chain long here. I'm so upset that I went through all that individually. Anyway, doesn't matter. Okay. For 2.5, the Proud Wins Easy team has gone for a complete overhaul of how the tier list functions, amending our criteria, roles, tags, and multiple placement as a result. About the tier list. The section outlines the general approach that the team took to the tier list placements. Parts have been rewritten, with standout changes being the tier list will continue to primarily focus on a character's ability to hit all rewards for in-game modes, but going forward there will be a partial weighting to potential partial weighting to potential for higher performing runs. It's important for Prowin to prioritize the average player. However, it is not a fair assessment to evaluate an agent on their skill floor alone. To avoid unfairly judging characters, though, whose ease of play may inflate or deflate their scores, future evaluation will also take into account of how well one can perform. So they're also going to focus on skill a little bit. Skill is going to influence a character's tier placement a bit now. Skill ceilings will be more accepting of more advanced techniques. Assessments will retain a focus on the casual player base, but there will now be an added consideration of skillful play as a factor in our evaluation. Okay, that's good to that's good to know. My only issue with that is, well, not with that thing specifically, but since they never flat out, like they tell you where they pull the information from, is from like a pool of people where they grab their UIDs and just general UID information and stuff, and then they look at everybody's results and stuff. They pull their information that way, but it's never really any concrete, never fully concrete numbers from my understanding. So it's like, it's a little hard to like a full assessment on things without knowing like concrete information when understanding their tier placements. They kind of just place them and give them their thoughts on why they place them, but they don't really provide any actual statistical data to why their placements were done, if that makes sense. Criteria and roles. The section established ground rules of how the tier list was organized, as well as certain weights for characters evaluation within a given role. Major changes are: drop this incorrectly listed at 12-12. Listed a 12-12 4 split for fluid substacks. Example has been recorded to 14-14-6. This is not a change in criteria, but a correction of how it was presented. Previously, fluid substats did not account for the two fixed substats that must have been distributed. Roles, okay, doesn't matter. Roles have been altered to reflect crit DPS anomaly and support. After a long internal debate, we have removed the secondary DPS column instead and converted it to anomaly DPS. Only 4 agents land in the secondary DPS column, and recent agents release made this more complicated to evaluate. Is he their primary DPS or secondary DPS, or both? How about characters that would run with her, like Soldier Zero Ambi? Is Jane another character that would fit in both columns, concerning her presence in Alice and Piper teams? Piper was also run as secondary DPS for Miyabi. How about Grace? Determining if a character is a primary DPS or secondary DPS isn't easy at times and makes things more complicated, excessively crowding one column while leaving another barren. While there is a case to be made to simply split characters per role, this seemed far too excessive, especially when considering the supports. As a result, crit DPS and anomaly DPS are the new split, and supports remain unchanged. I can understand why they said this and why they went about it the way that they did. But in my opinion, I honestly think the primary DPS and second DPS category was and still is the best way to address the roles that characters provide. I don't think we don't need to break it down to the point of like having stunners and supports, defense units being separate. I was on that train in the beginning. I did think it was originally stupid for them to group stunners, defense units, and supports together. But after reflecting on it a bit more, and especially as more and more of these characters release, all of their roles are generally provided for them to support the team. They just support the team in different ways. And so to me, it's fine for, especially for the target audience that they're aiming for, it's fine to encapsulate all of these characters within a support category. And I felt like that for them to do primary and secondary DPS, it made sense as well. As to me, it feels really clear which characters provide a supporting role based on their kits versus others. For example, like he asked, is Seed a primary DPS or secondary DPS? In my opinion, Seed can be both. Seed is a unit that provides immense firepower, but if you read the details of her kit, she is primarily also focused to support the unit that's on her team. They also made the dance about Jane. You could technically put Jane as a secondary DPS, but when you look at Jane as a whole, her job isn't complete. Her job as a whole isn't to really support. Her job as a whole isn't really to support the team that she's on. She's just able to do so. She's just able to do so. But if you want to include her under there, that's fine. I just think it wouldn't really matter for Jane as an overall secondary DPS. She would just be rated low anyway. Same thing with like Piper. They could be considered secondary DPSs, but in comparison to the actual secondary DPSs in the game, they would just be rated pretty low because they're only worthwhile using in like one very specific team. So the reasoning for them to get rid of it, I don't agree with it, but I can understand why they did what they did. Absolutely, the rule of sub DPS at 1.5 tier strips out nuance. Yeah, like I don't think, for me, labeling it crit and DPS, crit and anomaly DPS, just it lacks too much nuance because it doesn't really tell players enough of like why these characters are put here, and the roles that they and the reasons why they're here. I don't know. It doesn't provide enough nuance in my opinion. Okay. Cheerless placement. Where are we at? Influence on rating now also considers performance beyond only max rewards. Agents team flexibilities has been added to all roles, plus a few more tweaks. So team flexibility matters to the list as well. This is to keep the criteria and roles aligned with the about the cheerless section. Primary focus remains on clearing, but weighting will be given to runs and characters that can perform. Okay, blah, blah, blah. In addition, agents team flexibility has been extended to apply to every role, alongside some normalization between stun and support, as well as crit DPS and anomaly. So I'm guessing this is saying that team flexibility does matter. Which, if you guys been here and seen any of my tier list discussions before, y'all already know team flexibility is a big contributor to where a character is placed on my list personally. That is one of the main, because I think how well a unit is and how many teams that can be comprised in matters a lot. I think that is a very key thing in order to talk about a character strength. Almost like pulling the wool over eyes, a gray area, and keeping it basic, which we don't need. And yeah, explains why Fufu and Nicole are still so high. Yeah, what's good, Berserk? Flexibility has to matter. Lighter, it's about as good as dial in for specific attackers. Yeah, Caesar. we'll talk about characters independently soon. But yeah, I think team flexibility matters because just like we stated in the previous video about dial in. Dial-in can't be used in every team, but the reason she is as rated as high as these characters is she's pretty similar to all of these supports, where she has so many different teams that she can be a part of and provide very worthwhile support. That's why lighter is a bit lower than them, because lighter is very specific on the units that he can support, but his overall buffs and strength are really good. I don't know if this is ordered though, because if this is ordered, would I put Trigger over Light? Nah. Trigger has some flexibility, but I don't know if it's better than Lighter's flexibility. We'll get back into that. I think it's alphabetical. Oh, that would make sense. We'll get back into that later. It doesn't really matter though. All right. Tags. All tags had, with the exception of partner and expert, has been removed. Why have sheer and anomaly tags but not attacker? There was stun, but days building defense agents like Caesar could not get it. Buff was a tag, but a significant portion of agents, yes, even damage dealers, offer team-wide buffs. Almost every agent is opted to be played with a quick swap playstyle, yet only some are given to it. Should heal be applied to most of the rupture casts? For the moment, only tags that have a measurable influence on the tier list placements have survived the purge. I think the tag thing was pretty good as it provided nuance. Again, this removes nuances. And I think a really good thing about the tags thing is that it provided nuance to characters. Could have been better? Yes, they could have been a lot more better in the, with tagging characters properly. But removing that nuance, I think just again removes information that will be good for players to know and understand. But because you remove this, it lacks that needed information, the extra needed information people needed, but it's not fully necessary. It's not fully necessary. Hope y'all having a fantastic New Year's Eve. What's good? Legend of oh god, please. How am I supposed to say your name, bro? I'm gonna just say Legend for now. But yeah, we're doing good. Hope you're having a good New Year's Eve as well. If we're mixing types of DPS and tiers, saying attack hero anomaly would be a sensible tag. Yes, that would be a sensible tags actually. If we're going to mix them into these type of categories that they're going for. Probably doesn't fuck with ZZZ at all. I don't even think that's the case, and I think I love EO, but I think pushing that agenda is unnecessary. I don't think that's something that we need to push. But if you feel that way, sure, I understand. I just think they have a very general and different perspective than what most of us go for. Just because I think a lot more of us are more hardcore with the game, and honestly, I don't think the Pride Win tier list is centered around hardcore players. But it seems, which is also conflicting because it seems like that's where they're trying to shift it to. Not completely, but they're trying to find a better middle ground. It's supposed to be like Gentoki, but replace again with Tai. Oh, Tai Toki. Okay, got you. Makes sense. Mind you guys, I don't really care for Pride Win's tier list. I don't really agree with it. I don't think it's terrible. With the criteria that they have. We'll get into it a little bit more. But yeah. So they removed tags, it doesn't matter. Expert has been changed. If you are not playing characters where that placement may go down on multiple tiers. So yeah, if the character has an expert tag, it's expected you to play them at a higher level. If not, is what it is. When's the Genshin Lab tier list ranking? Genshin Lab has a tier list for Zenless. Tier list players, many characters have been shifted on the tier list with this update. In addition to all of our previous changes, the 1.5 tier has been removed for the time being. This will require an adjustment period as the removal of a whole tier translates to each remaining tier having a broader span of power to cover. Two characters being in the same tier does not make them directly equal in power. It just means that they are more equal to each other than they are above or below. Okay, note that the order of a character in a row does not reflect the strength or higher performance. The large change done to the tier list and its criteria, the team needs time to get used to the new methodology. This will likely result in some more aggressive tier list movements during or after this patch, with everything heavily subjected to change. Please keep all in mind when considering updates and placements. This is probably something that a lot of people have not read and have not considered. But basically, what this is saying is that what this tier list looks like right now probably will not be how it looks like by the end of this patch and by the next patch. That means characters will probably drastically shift from where they are currently. But for the most part, I don't know what I was about to say, but it's good to understand that because it lets you know that this tier list isn't solidified. But within that sense. They possibly should have just delayed. They possibly should have just delayed their tier list and not made it public. They should have just probably cut off the tier list section for now, but I guess because they have such a large volume of people coming to their website, they feel like that they needed to update and have the tier list available for the 2.5 patch. Here's what it is. Ye Xingguang T0, the new Void Hunter title, is well deserved. So strong is Ye Xingguang that one could argue she deserved a debut in a tier of her own. Her raw numbers are absurdly high, and she's able to demolish any encounter in the game, even elemental, neutral, or resistant enemies. Ether Veil Verdict's vulnerability, combined with the high miasma purification value on Honed Edge, allows her to brute force through enemy mechanics, and she isn't particularly hard to pick up. It's difficult to overstate how universally good this character is, regardless of shield, firmly securing her position at T0. I don't necessarily agree with regardless of shield or not, but it makes sense. It was expected. Void Hunter tier 0, big shocker. Xiao T0.5. Despite being a free agent and a defender to boot, Xiao is surprisingly strong. She has a decent buff lineup, can slot in most attackers and anomaly teams, and is relatively easy to do well with. A sizable portion of her power budget is in her signature W engine, and this has to be acknowledged. But with the full package, she is at the very least competitive with the other 0.5 agents. Not to mention, she'll be a mainstay in Ye Xingguang's team, further inflating her performance. I can understand this 0.5 placement because of Ye Xingguang, but I don't think there's enough information for Xiao to completely back that she is 0.5 in comparison to the other supports in this list. I don't think there's been enough testing to completely showcase what Xiao offers. So I wouldn't be surprised if Xiao is one of the characters that get adjusted and moved upon the list. Just because I don't think, from a lot of the videos, and even myself doing a little bit of testing, I haven't tested her enough outside of Ye Xingguang. But I just don't think we've done enough complete testing with this character yet to fully know that she sits with the best, with some of these best characters up here. But we'll see. Nah, Xiao isn't too far from Astra. She's definitely less than a tier below Astra. We'll see. I'm not saying that she will fall out of 0.5. I just think that she needs more time, which is why I would have delayed the list. But again, I understand, big website, they just trying to get stuff out. All right, so Ellen moved to T1. Ellen may not be receiving any additional skills or kit changes with her Potential Awakening, but 48% crit damage and 10% ice res are no small numbers. With the removal of 0.1.5, she would be closer to T1 than T2 agents, even without being at potential 6, making it for a decisive move to T1. So mostly Ellen just got moved because the T1.5 tier was removed, and she just got moved up because of her changes. Soldier 11 T2 to T1. With no T1.5 and the arrival of Potential Awakening, Soldier 11 moves up a tier. Even without the tier list change, however, there is merit in her being here. In theory, her changes puts her on par with Ellen. And being a fire attacker, she doesn't have to struggle with ice resistance anti-shield. Time will tell how much of an impact these buffs have on her scores, but she's well placed to perform. You guys know me. Love Soldier 11, and I think she's really good. I think the tier list does reflect her pretty well right now. I don't imagine her changing. I think that she is one of the better T1 agents at M0, especially if you have her at potential P6. I even think that once you get Mindscape's on her, she's even debatable of being on the lower end of 0.5. But of course, with heavy Mindscape investments, which requires you to have a lot of luck. But M0, I think T1 makes a lot of sense. We'll discuss more as we get talk about characters tier placements individually as we go on. Ben and Ambi moved up to T3. I'm pretty sure this is just because of the tier list of the slots being removed. Well, Ben and Ambi moved up a tier, not for being any better, but riding the waves of structural changes of the tier list. Yep. Except for remaining static is likely to be the standout placement. Putting Seth at the same tier as Ambi feels very harsh, as he does have buff value and can work in hyper carry anomaly teams, but even in those teams, he can't quite match the now T2 agents in performance. His anomaly build up red shred should be strong bonus in the current environment, but he still fails to keep up. This would be very well be a result of his abysmal pick rate in at all levels, but that too is telling. This is my issue with the placements here for a unit like Seth. What this tells me is that there is a lack of information on how strong Seth is, because nobody is using the character. But it also means that nobody on Pride Win is testing every single character within this list to truly evaluate their tier placement. This doesn't mean that I test every character too with my tier placement, but it does hint at that this character could be very slapped on and underdeveloped, and he could potentially be a lot stronger than what he is. Nobody just uses him, so we don't truly know. What's good, Gamurai? Unfortunately, my best comparison is 37k on Thrawn with Zhao Lin. On Astra lets me get 41k, and that's Astra's signature teammate. Then saying Eve are way ahead of me, but I feel comfortable with Astra Eve, while I feel like I screw up with Zhao Eve while still scoring high. I remember Kete doing well with him when Alice was new, but no one shows off his. But yeah, that's the hard thing with characters like Seth, Grace, Neko, even Pokra to an extent. Rena, like nobody, when a character is being underused, you're not able to showcase and really understand their strength and how strong they truly are. And because there's little representation for them, they end up getting put down as off meta because the lack of representation. I think Seth is for hybrid carry, so you run Yuzu anomaly Seth. That could work. We might try out Seth and Grace maybe. We'll see. Simply run Seth as the main DPS trust. I bet if Seth AA wasn't as restrictive, he would have been placed higher because Seth really got a great kit to him. What is his AA? Isn't it an anomaly? Oh, it's not. It's same attribute or faction. Yeah, I thought it was an anomaly. Yeah, that's actually rough. If this was same attribute and anomaly, this would be so much better for him. The fact that it's faction though kind of sucks. Definitely does suck. So it limits his application by a lot. Okay. The fact that no movement demands a justification should show that it's no easy decision, but for now, Ben and Seth will all share tier 3. Downgrade Caesar, Lucy, Rena from 1.5 to 2. Although these 3 characters have technically been downgraded, this is more of a result of removal of the list. Okay, it doesn't matter. Sukaku 0.5 to 1. For Mono Ice and in particular Yuzu Ice, Sukaku is still a powerhouse of a unit, being a difficult slot to replace in all advanced Miyabi teams. Even with the partner tag, those suggesting that she and Miyabi would do as well as Zhao with the Ancient Guan, for example, isn't quite right. With the most agents in T0.5 having either a wide variety of teams, a concept that can perform in or are standouts in their own niches, Sukaku struggles to hold on to her placement and drops to T1. This makes sense. In my list, I've always been in the thought that there was a tier difference between Nicole and Sukaku. And so them having a tier difference between them makes sense. Yeah, Seth was the glue to connect Grace to other teams, but I hated using him or Arena because they took away Grace's damage before her buffs. Oh, they do? 100 AP is pretty good, especially if you don't have Sig or use it. But he feels like it's only a good partner is Yanagi because usually it's how it's best. Otherwise, I can see that. Yanagi 0.5 to 1. Yanagi, as the carrier in anomaly teams, has struggled to perform up to par with limited lineups in which she can do well. Her priority disorder is your team's specific. Shit, my fault. Where was I? Her polarity disorder and general team flexibility held up her scores, but this is often a result of her being held up by her partner rather than being a significant value add. To be clear, she is still a decent character and arguably deserves a place in a hypothetical T0.75, but has fallen behind to a T1 placement. This makes sense since Miyabi and all of them have been brought down to 0.5. It's fair to say that Yanagi is not on the same level as these three. I think that's a fair assessment. But I also definitely think it is another fair assessment that she is better than these three here. So their hypothetical 0.75 statement. Okay, we'll let it do what it do. Yeah, she's not on the same level as Miyabi and them. But she is good. Nicole. Visually, Nicole appears to remain in 0.5, but attention should be given to the change in how the expert tag is evaluated. Rather than being a T0 agent, when played at her best, she drops to a 0.5, with her still being remarkably strong support. If properly managed, but falling short of the likes of Dial-In and the 3 dedicated limited supports. Yeah, which is true. Vivian, T0 to 0.5. Vivian remains the premier anomaly partner, able to slot in any anomaly team and do well, given the lack of ether resistant bosses and universal value of a bloom. She continues to manage strong scores, but as with most anomaly units, has fallen short in comparison to crit DPS. Units use how can and does make up for the difference, but this still means Vivian is losing overall power. With Yeshiguan's present and Yijuan's widespread dominance, Vivian isn't quite at T0, so she suffers a half tier drop to 0.5. That makes sense. Orphe was released during a strong attack shield with multiple double attacker buffs and agent releases potential. She could excel. The general ease of use meant that most players could put her on any team and succeed with little effort, where she could consistently top in average charts. Time has changed, however, with her new and best matching Time has changed, however, with her now at best matching or often even falling behind 0.5 characters in all levels of play. None of this takes away from her qualities, but it's quite right to imply Orphe isn't quite right to imply Orphe is Yeshiguan tier, but a drop to 0.5 is warranted. Oh, why did for some reason I thought that they were saying that she dropped out of one. Hold up. I just realized they had Orphe at T0. That was a thing? They had Orphe at T0? I felt like that was a stretch anyway. I did not know they had her at T0. I think that was a little of a stretch anyway. Flew a little too close to the sun on that one. But hey, she's 0.5, makes sense. Oh, now for the grand. The character that everybody is upset about. If we were to evaluate Miyabi's power in isolation, she'd be an undisputable T0 character. However, the excessive amounts of anti-shield enemies, often lackluster or entirely absent anomaly buff selection, and ever-increasing anomaly threshold means that she has consistently underperformed in comparison to Yijuan, to the point Miyabi at times can't even keep up at some anomaly-oriented bosses like Miasmic Fiend. In the past, she had been watch-listed but survived owing to still managing to do well in Shiyu and being able to brute force content, which in itself is a testament to her strength. At the same time, it'd be misleading to imply that she can do as well as the other two Void Hunter level characters in the current environment. Technically, each role is mostly evaluated as being distinct from one another, but the lack of content in which she can perform well in means she drops below a tier. The wording on this is important. Saying that she does not perform well even against resistance content is a false statement. Miyabi has been performing well regardless of the anti-shielding. She just isn't overperforming like she used to. But she is performing well. She just isn't overly performing like she used to. But the 0.5 drop makes sense. A lot of people are upset about this, but my thing with this is that if you understand the audience that Pride One is targeting, you would understand that most players that are playing Miyabi would more than likely experiencing Miyabi having a little bit lower scores than normal. But I think like they said her. Like they said that Miyabi in a vacuum, how strong you can tell how strong she is because even with anti-shield content, she's still able to basically easily clear most of it with no issue. And that's why in my opinion, I think that being able to not only dominate the content that you're designed for, but to also being able to combat the content that is designed to kill you or to overall neuter you, and you're still able to pretty much easily get through it. I think that is excuse me. I think that is a testament to how strong of a character you are. To the point that I think it is fair to say that Miyabi is still T0. But I can understand from the perspective of players that are just naturally playing her, that aren't really like heavily invested into the game, and that are just like your average player that's gonna normally view this. I can understand them feeling that way about Miyabi dropping low because she does feel a bit weaker. She does feel a bit weaker than what she used to before because of everything being focused around content that's designed to make her feel weaker in the grand scheme of things. But there's also an issue there that I have based on the things that's with their expert tag, which we'll talk about in a bit. I think the last thing we gotta look at is Evelyn. Evelyn T0 to 0.5. Evelyn may not appear to move, but this is the result of the change of the expert tag. Oh yeah, she's 0. They think she's T0.5 with expert, which makes sense. I don't think Evelyn is on the same level as the Void Hunters when played her at the expert level, but she is really good. Yijuan moved up to T0. I don't think we need to really understand that, so really no point in reading that. But for Grace, T3 watch list. As one of the characters that have received a potential awakening, she's undeniably due to perform better than before. Unfortunately, though, even with these changes, her damage seems underwhelming. It's too early to make a full judgment call on her power budget, so for the moment, she is being watch listed with the chance to move up if she does better than expected. Okay. Didn't they move Bondway up though? Wasn't Bondway like in T1 before and then they move him up? or did they move him up before this came out? I'm not sure. What does performing well mean? There isn't truly bad interest. I don't know. I guess clearing, getting max rewards. That's all I could think of, because it doesn't specify anything else. Before we continue, I need to use the restroom. So I will be right back. Let me use the restroom, and we'll get back to this. you. Alright, you back. Okay. What we talking about? I really don't like how they messed up Shiyu defense, even with everybody else. From what I hear. Which, I'm not even gonna lie, guys. I don't want to talk much more about each other. So, we might wait to do our own next stream. What we'll do for now, we'll try the new Shiyu a little bit before I end the stream, because I do need to go in a little bit. But we'll try it out. We'll discuss more tier stuff later. Pause if you already discussed it. What's wrong with the new Shiyu? Haven't tried it. So we're about to play it now. But essentially what they did was that Shiyu is no longer 7 floors, it's only 5. And they made it so that the 5th floor has 3 stages, 3 bosses. Instead of being a time-oriented theme, it's based off a score. But with how the score works, is that it more so incentivizes you to do a burst of damage within the first 60 seconds than it does to like kind of allow you flexibility to use however you want. So essentially chasing to do burst damage, because the score thing has a multiplier tied to the time. So how this works is that the first minute you have a ×5 multiplier, and after that first minute, for every 10 seconds afterwards, that multiplier decreases and decreases and decreases, making your score build less and less, overall making your score worse. I can see that, right? I definitely do think it does not teach you how to properly use the game, because it kind of goes, because in order to get better score, it kind of goes against what you would normally do. I realize how short Switch 11 is. How tall is S11 actually? She's 5'3". That's funny. You can delete comments now? What do you mean? What's good? What's good, Brian? I'm doing well. My pulls, I didn't do any pulls. I didn't pull for anybody yet. I didn't want Yishin Guang. I think I'm gonna save all my pulls for the rerun banner, so I'm gonna probably pull Sambi. I am right here at Hard Pity though, so I'm debating if I want. Cause I think I'm debating if I want to get a copy of Xiao or what's the name? Get a copy of Yishin Guang. Cause I'm probably not gonna use Yishin Guang. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like it's trying to get new players prepped for DA, but it's going about it the wrong way. I think the better idea of getting it prepped for DA is that you would make it more like DA, but I don't even think it's like DA really. Not a YG fan. Yeah, I think she's boring. I don't think her gameplay's that fun. So I didn't really enjoy her too much. So I could pull her, but I just know like probably past like this initial month, I just wouldn't play her much at all. So I have more fun with other agents. Will you be doing that spinning event? Yeah. Since I'm topping up, I'll probably do it just again get the copies and the engine stuff. People saying she's too bland in character and gameplay. I haven't played the story, so I don't know. I know the new event came out, so you can play her if you want to. I said, well, I ain't got no pulls at all to do it. Tourist, that's crazy. And also, we're guaranteed Sambi anyway. That's the benefit for the reruns this patch. You're guaranteed your first character on the rerun. I need to upgrade somebody. I can't remember who it was. Also, we finished building our rebuilding our Bernice. Have you tried her on other account? I found her. Oh yeah, I did. I had test server access to her, so we already made a guide and stuff on her. I've already tried her. She's just not for me. We also got Bernice's engine. On the way, we still need to finish building. All right, Shiyu. So this is fire physical. This frontier challenge is divided into 3 separate rooms where ages for each individual room must be different. In each room, accumulate combat score by having agents perform a combat action against enemies. The final rating for the frontier depends on the scores earned in each room. Scoring rules. In combat, dealing damage until defeating a single normal elite boss enemy will reward 100, 500, 8,000 damage score. Defeating a single normal elite enemy will grant a one-time 100 to 500 elimination score. Without considering score multipliers, the maximum score is 10,000. In this stage, scores earned within 60, 70, 80, 90, 105, 120, 135, 150 seconds while receiving a 4, 3.2, 2.5, 2.0, 1.5, 1.0, 0.6, 0.3 multiplier bonus. After applying the bonus, the maximum total score is 50,000. Deployed agents, W engines, and drive disc. Oh, this is the locking thing that people are talking about. What's good, Yo Jumbo? Happy New Year. All right, so let's give it a try. So, well, we need to construct teams. So this first one, we're definitely going to do soldier. The next one we can do seed. And then the last one, use Inferno Metal Soldier. I don't have any Inferno Metal pieces. I don't have any at all. I scrapped all of mine way back when. My only thing though is, and of course, what most S11s don't use that set. Most of us use Woodpecker, if we're going to be exact. But I think do have some. They're just so old. Like they're from like when I first farmed for back in like maybe 1.3. So like they're not even good pieces if I do still have them. Yeah, they're like, okay, no, I actually have a few. I lied, I do have a few. I actually do have some decent ones. How many woodpeckers you got for 3 teams? Most of my characters that use woodpecker have woodpecker sets on their own. I think the only character I share gear with is Banwei and Minato. I think everybody else has their own sets. Evelyn was sharing with some pieces with Soldier, but I don't use Evelyn, so. I think the only character that might not be built right now is my, what's the name? My Miyabi, because I don't use my Miyabi that much. But Miyabi probably can just power through anyway. Yeah, she can probably just power through anyway. Alright, let's go. Y'all don't hear the game though. Okay. Let's go. Let's see how we do. Actually, I don't like this music. Well, my combat actions earn points. Multiplier guys will increase over time. I get my charge. Oh, I know he was still alive. Oh my god. I think it's what, after the first minute, every 10 seconds decrease the multiplier? Right? Is that how that works? I know I just said it, but I just want to be sure. Yeah, okay. Can get off over timing. Burn it, burn it. Oh shit. Oh no, wrong. Probably not because of story reason, but since we can have shadow variance of ages, maybe. I need to get my defensive assist there. I'm not getting my charge. I'm like, get my perfect time. What? Hey, I'm not getting them right now. I'm slipping. Come on. Oh shit, fucked up. Yeah, not good. Last one was better grouping though. I can't do that, yo Jimbo. Gotta do the perfect timing. My soldier brain won't let me. No matter how many takes it tries to take. Oh, I thought defensive assist there. Why isn't you stunned over? Oh my god. Your soldier bird has only ever used dodge counters? No, that's not the case. I've always perfect time normally all my basics. Why do you think I used to run Caesar with soldiers sometimes? So I didn't have the dodge counter. This is 4 or 5. This is 5. Yeah, I need to save stun. Too late. Too early, I meant. Right now. Oh, did it? No. It held my burst. Yeah, it hold my burst. Yeah, I know, Yojimbo. I did dodge counter game. Yeah. This front loading thing is It feels so weird to do. Oh my god. I never seen his miasma face. Fuck it up. Run, girl, goddamn. I fucked it up. I want to see it one more time. That cancels out my burst. Damn. Fuck it up again. Ooh, okay. That was better. That was better. Almost 30K. We could definitely get 30. That was better. What's good, Kira? How's Buff Switch 11 what's the memory going? It's going pretty good. I'm starting to get it down now. I have a theory that the name mentioned at the very end of 2.5 is from the all 5A. Y'all talking about story now. Big sortie. Alright, this one should be fairly easy with electric. Let's make sure my seed and everybody has their sets. That should be better to check it while we're in here, because then it'll let me know what's locked. Uharmasa. Make sure I have my right pieces on. Can't use soldier pieces, it's fine. We don't need them. We have all the right pieces on. Why does it end before the timer? Oh, they changed it. I'll explain it again in a minute. Just give me a sec. You already used dial in, so we can't use that piece. Can't use that piece. Make sure I got my best pieces. Alright, bet. And then Haru. We're not playing Evelyn. Pretty sure Hugo has some of his. I can't remember. Haru gives himself crit rate or crit damage. Crit damage. Alright. We have an M1C, so it should be good now. Let's go. Yeah, this. Yeah, this shit is definitely not hard at all. This team. Let me redo that though. I can definitely clean that up. Was C gonna backpack out our boy Haru? That girl carried my man. Ah, so too early. Stop mono. Oh my god. I gotta get better with Haru because this team is actually a lot of fun. This team is actually a lot of fun. Almost 40k. Just a little bit off of 40k. So, how this new Shiyu works is that there's only 5 floors instead of 7. And on this 5th floor, you are separated into 3 bosses. But instead of worrying about time more so, it's centered around a score system. You will see at the top right of my screen, there will be a score and a ×5 multiplier. For the first 5 minutes, wherever points you accumulated is ×5. But after you hit that past that first minute, every 10 seconds after that will decrease the multiplier by a certain amount of percentage. I think it's almost every 0.5 or a little more. So basically, you want to do as much as you can with as much damage as you can as early into the fight as possible to accumulate the most points as possible. Your threshold score is 25k, and you need to get at least 25k on every boss to get an S rank. It's an okay design. I don't hate it, I don't think. But I don't know if I like it either. We'll see. Nice physical.
この道義を貫き通出撃
どう俺満月の日
ひと夏の物語聞きたくない
Oh, where's my Astro voice piece? Oh no, she has my AP piece. We'll use this one. I guess we could technically try out new Bernice. This man flashes pull a double yay on his girlfriend's account. That's crazy. You gotta rock mono or use ice. I don't even have Sukaku built. I don't use Sukaku. I barely use my Miyabi. Ah, fuck. Oh shit. Oh, that was not a good stun. Yeah, I want to redo that. I messed that up. Oh, my poor baby Sukaku not getting fed. I've never built Sukaku on my account. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I've never had Sukaku built on my account. I'm in a cage fight with Sukaku. I'm crying. How didn't I get my switch to use that? What? Just use Seth, T0 agent, by the way. Where's EO? Someone saying T0. Oh, we. Oh my god, he rolled. He got frozen on the other side. That's some shit. Bro got frozen on the other side. Like, what you doing over there, bro? Oh shit. Ah, I should have replied. Ah, nah, that's where we better. I let what's the name run out. I let what's the name run out. I love Yuzu's old animation. Did the expose shit. Yuzu is great. Y'all ungroup bastards. And you won't die.
終わりだ。さあ、雪のしずく。この刀に誓おう。受けてた。
This was worse. Fuck. You didn't die? Oh, I tried to style Bernice. I tried to style with Bernice at the end. It's because I didn't get the 3 ults in the beginning, I think. Bro, what is your ass doing over here? Oh my god. I'm missing too much. Was whiffing too much. The Shiyu defense is hard, man. With 3 stage, I only got a B overall. We got to go. We definitely have to make a video on how to improve at it. I definitely think this one overall is harder though.
直ザンせいやっ刀はもう鞘だせい受けてたえっさやっはっ終わりだやっはっ勝利おっへっへっへっさだはっはっやっ刀はもう鞘だ見切ったはっへっだやっ散れやっはっさへっへっやっはっ終わりだ雪のしず勝利を上となし狂乱はこれに次ぐ集中しろ刀は鞘だへっへい容赦はしないこの木を逃さずやっはい
Yes, sir. Still not the best, but it was good. 34K. Okay. Okay. Oh, we got S plus. Definitely my soldier score can be better. All these scores can actually be better than what I did. I think I could definitely hit like 32K with soldier. And the seed and both seed and Miyabi teams, I think I can do 40. S plus achieved after a buy account. We can actually do a stream dedicated to improving everybody that wants help. So we can see what we could work with. Like Poper, if y'all do !point Discord and you join the Discord and you send me your team builds, I think that what you have on your account can work. Yeah, make you the new surgeon. Oh, look, I ain't trying to do those surgeries. That's Kete. I'll let Kete do the surgeries. But I guess let me get my first impressions. Or general impressions, because I have played it a little bit prior to this. So my general impressions of the new Shiyu, which we'll probably do a more consolidated video talking about everything and how overall I feel if I play it some more, is that it's okay. I can see where the idea is of the front loading, the DPS doing a lot of damage at the start, and overall just getting a high score as much as you can with the multiplier being as fast as you can. I could see them like doing this because it creates like exhilarating gameplay where it seems like it's less focused about playing the game properly, but more so just abusing your mechanics as fast as possible. So I think like the mode is more centered around, honestly, like I could imagine myself like changing some builds up to focus on like energy regen and stuff to like build more energy so I can like build decibels and stuff faster with EXs. But my only issue is that this mode, when played this way, it doesn't teach you how to play the rest of the game. Like you wouldn't do this in like DA or like what's that simulated thing that they added, or towers. Like you would wait to do things within stun windows and stuff like that, but And this mode, you kind of just send it within the first minute. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, Fufu stock rise. This actually brings up a lot. This actually brings up the stocks of like a lot of characters that are like very burst oriented. Like when we get like an Eat the Week boss, Juyun's probably going to be really good here. She might even be good on the what's the name fight, on the Minato fight. Fufu's going to be really good here. Koleda, funny enough, is probably really good here. Really all stunners that stun pretty fast. Chingy might be pretty solid here, depending on the team that you're running. This is probably Hugo's domain. This is the mode for Hugo, if anything. But outside of that, if you're playing a character that's not really burst oriented, I feel like it doesn't do as well. Like I was talking to our homie Nyx, like trying to run Jane outside of like her very highly invested teams and like playing like how Jane used to be. But she still is this way, but like Jane is like as she goes across along the fight, her damage ramps up in a way. It's like she's not like a burst oriented DPS. She consistently does damage outside of stun windows, and when she triggers it, she does what she does. So without like having like an Alice, a Vivian, like major beneficial anomaly characters that normally paired with her, she's gonna be a lot slower, and because of that kind of hinders her from having like a good score, even when highly invested in. So I don't know. I think this mode overall seems to put a bubble around what players can do and fluctuate and flex with their characters a bit. And I don't know if I like that idea. It makes things feel a little limiting in some areas. Potentially making it a lot harder to clear for most people. Where previous Shiyu, you could kind of like back end and like kind of carry a team that wasn't performing super well. So like if you had a team that was clearing in 3 minutes or a little over 3 minutes, you could have like a dominating team that clears like either within a minute or like a little over a minute. So yeah, it was weird. It's weird. I don't know. I don't dislike it, but I don't know if I like it either. This is just initial impressions. We'll probably do another video. I would say probably after the next rotation or two rotation, or after we do maybe three sets of rotations, since there are 3 bosses, then we'll come back and do another verdict and talk about it and kind of have my thoughts on it a little bit more on how I feel. Right now though, it feels okay. I think this lineup though is pretty rough. I do kind of like the new boss though. The first wave of ads is a little rough, but yeah, I think the only boss that really was kind of challenging was the first one with Soldier. But after that, I already knew the electric one was going to be a breeze because my seed is M1, my trigger is M1. So that was going to get me through it with Mindscapes. But even without Mindscapes, it probably could still clear at like a 30k, high 20k with the way I played. And then the Miyabi team, it's Miyabi. No matter what a tier list says or what people say about Miyabi falling off, Miyabi is still carrying people, especially if it's Ikewee's focused content. She's still gonna cook. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I don't think it's bad, but I could definitely see some glaring issues with it and why people wouldn't enjoy it as much as the older Shiyu. Hopefully they reflect. I think after some time, come back to it and talk about it. We can reflect and see how we feel about it later on. But I think we're good. I think it's okay. I think it's okay for now. But yeah, let me know how you guys feel about it. I know everybody kind of has mixed opinions on it and if they like it or not, but it's what it is. It's what it is. Hopefully they do listen to feedback if we do get past a month or so and people still don't like it. I mean, past like maybe like 2 or 3 rotations or so, people still don't like it, then they can make adjustments within like the next upcoming patches. But for now, I think it's okay to start. I'll try my best to make content around this to kind of like help you guys figure out how to get past it, and we'll probably even maybe jump on people's accounts and help them get through it. And kind of work with what we have. But yeah, appreciate you guys your love and support. Remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're ever new. I said it so fast. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, and always remember to believe in you that believes in yourself. I'll see you guys in the next one. Again, that was for the video, y'all. We ain't in the stream just yet. We about to in a second. About to in a minute, though. I do want to run back. You should keep that in. I probably will. I do want to run back that boss. I think the multiplier idea is fine. I think they should just increase it so that it doesn't drop every 10 seconds, but maybe drop it maybe every 20 seconds or so. Or maybe every 30, I don't know. Every 10 seconds is a little egregious for the multiplier to be dropping that fast. I think that's a little egregious. Oh, I didn't see him still swinging. Says 230 each side. What's the max you could spin? I think the difference though that the other shoes that you could spin longer than those than 230 if you wanted to. Your other team just had to make up for it if you did, which I think was fine. Yeah, this mode, there's no making up for it. You just get cooked. The team has to be performing.
ないで。ウェポンズフリー。
Well, I fucked that up. Oh my god, that was good. I think that was a good run too. I fucked that up. I need to waste this. Here's what it is. Swap cancel is fucking up. What if, as the players always misunderstood, and this was how the attack routines were meant to be played? What? Shouldn't invest in some puffer pieces. Rolls haven't been good to me lately. I do need a puffer build for soldier. Like if we weren't meant to hold resources to stun and play attack teams, more like anomaly. But that would be weird because a lot of the a lot of the attackers buffs and stuff are allocated to when they have enemies stunned. Especially like older attack DPS. That's why I said devil's advocate. Nah, though. There we go.
準備スピードターゲットロックオン最大出力炎よ我に従え敵に注意とどめよスピードさあ
I don't think this is better.
燃やしましょうせい温度を上げ続けるわ
Yeah, this isn't better. This was worse. Fuck. Can you say I broke my backs? I broke my back. Spinal. Ever heard that meme in forever? Or that from that video of Mike Tyson? Why did you want to hear that, Gamer Rock? I'm definitely gonna try and get Orphe sometime in the future. Yeah, Orphe works really good with What's Today. This is her new best in slot, which hurts because I love my boy Lighter. We can get 30K, bro. I know we can. We gotta do it earlier. I used that in a TikTok earlier. Makes sense. My opener gotta be faster. Oh my god.
さあ燃やしましょうせい火力で押す有能オペレーターに交代数術をお見せしましょう邪魔しないでハイスピード
Hey, that was mad fast.
バースに値します最大出力炎よ我に従え温度を上げ続けるわ火力準備ターゲットロックオン準備火力で押すハイスピードレポンズフリー温度を上げ続けるわとどめよクレーム今さら遅いですって現実プレイこのタイムで
Oh yeah, that's definitely better.
さあ燃やしましょうせい
Bro, did we not get to 30 because he died? 30. Let's go. We got the 30. We got the 30. Come on, yes. I'm a perfectionist though. Last time. And then we go end stream. And then we'll be back Saturday, probably. For the what's the name? The co-op. I just feel it in my veins. Nah, I feel it. We can get higher than 30. We can get higher than 30. I feel it. Oh my god, bro. I forgot co-ops. Yeah, it's kind of weird because they normally don't do updates on Saturdays. Yeah, I'll post this live. I can send it. Nah, fuck. We didn't kill him fast enough. How co-op going up? Borrow someone's agent. They're gonna have trial agents available, and I think we can. If you have the agents on your account, you can use them too. You can use the 9 if you have them on your account. We gotta focus him. He's the main one you gotta focus on. Because he's the one that spawns the ads. We should probably go right side then. Right, he just keeps. Oh my god! Now I can't lock him down. Like we was killing him before the ad wipe, and now we can't. What's the dragon? We gotta stun him before he goes into miasma. This is probably like the last restart we can do. Then we gotta leave. What you doing? Trying to get a better score on the new Shiyu. You get why she? Nah, I didn't want her. There we go. I think this house gets 30 right now. I think the house gets 30. Dang, bro, she's so fun. I'm glad you joined her. I'm glad you joined her. When I tried, I didn't really like her too much personally. But I figure it's gonna be pretty similar for me with like I get Hari and a little bit of Miyabi and what's the name, Bijan. Those just tend to be, I don't know. Those tend to be the characters I didn't really like too much. You know, I do like Yijuan. I skipped her for content purposes. Originally. I might still pull Mashi though. I'm like right here at hard pity, so I might just get ahead and go for it. Just to see if we can get her. So I might as well, you know. Yeah, like we're like 24 pulls, so like I might as well. But if we lose to 50, I'm not gonna be too stressed about it. Get the rest of these. We only got 400. Damn. Okay. They don't ever give you a skill. That's funny. But we do have the outpost up if you guys want to join. For some reason, I cannot accept this player. Yeah, I can't accept this player for some reason. But yeah, if you want to join the Soul Society, be sure to come through. Be sure to come through. This is ours, and then I will be. Once this fills up, we'll make a second one. We'll make a second one. But as of right now, I think we're pretty good. I think we have like, how many people we have in here? We have 20. We have 20 members so far. But yeah, if any of y'all wants to join, come through. Come through. And then I'll accept y'all. But yeah. How? Oh, when you go into the game. For me it's LB and then click start and it brings up the custom outpost menu. I put a skin on for mines, but you'll see a thing called outpost. You click outpost and they'll walk you how to go here. Then once you do, you click join out. You go over to join outpost and you just copy and paste the ID I have in chat. I also put it in my Discord, so you can just check announcements in Discord or ask somebody in Discord to send it to you, and then you can join the outpost that way. Be sure to send off commissions, guys. I will be probably MIA today, but for the rest of the day. But we'll be back on grind the game again tomorrow. I want to try to get this soldier video out tomorrow too. But yeah, if you're in Discord, do ! Discord. If you want to check out my other socials, ! Socials. Yeah, and I'll add all y'all. Yeah, I can't add them for some reason. They have to try to come back. Got you, Blaze. Appreciate y'all for joining. Remember, we're gonna try to be back streaming Saturday. It'll probably be an earlier stream. And it will be co-op. So come through if you guys want to play some co-op. I'm gonna see if some creators want to join me Saturday. If not, we'll do it Sunday. But we will do a creator co-op, and then we will do co-op with you guys. So yeah, see you next year. See y'all next year. See y'all next year. Y'all have a good one. Be sure to celebrate with your family. Have a good time. Check it out. I'm top 1% right now. What you mean top 1%? Playing factions? What you mean by top 1%? Oh, you mean like top 1%? Where you at? Tower. Oh yeah, you're up there with my homie. Jester's top 1% tower too. Just requested to join. Got you. There we go. But all right, y'all. I gotta head out. Get ready to hang out with some friends. Happy New Year to all you guys. Be safe if you guys are going out. If not, you know, eat some good food, hang out with friends, enjoy yourself, enjoy some Zenless. And yeah, we will be back Saturday. Either Saturday or Sunday, but I'm gonna try to do Saturday. Also a new video before then. On Soldier, showing you guys some stuff about her new changes. And that'll be most of the content we'll be doing. Talking about the new changes stuff for characters. JG, like I do have content for you to work on. I will be working on soon. I'll probably be working on some of it tomorrow. To send you to do. But yeah, what you can take your time on. Is it's New Year, so I won't be spamming you and like to get it done immediately. But yeah, all right. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's see. Is there anybody to raid before I go? I don't think anybody's live, are they? Nah. Yeah, nah. Not that I'm looking at. All right. See you guys. Bye.